Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 5 or day 5, I should say. So, right now, what we currently have is an object that can hit another object with the physics. So, as I mentioned before, we are able to move left and right. We have an object that is falling and it is able to recycle itself back to the top. Also, when there is collision detected, it will also go back up to the top, okay, which is what we want. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is add a bullet to the mix so that way we can shoot it and be able to get some type of reaction uh, and be able to destroy that falling object, okay? So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and come up here, hit this little right arrow in our area. So the bullet that I have in mind is this yellow capsule right here. So let's go ahead and drag that into the hierarchy. Let's go ahead and rename it, okay? So you can right click it and rename. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's take this out of play mode. I hate doing stuff in play mode. So because of this reason right here, it doesn't save what you have. So I'm going to put it back in here. It is there inside underneath the camera right now. If you want to move it, you can go ahead and move it, and you will see that the bullet is very little, tiny little bullet. Okay, so again, let's rename it, and we're gonna just rename it bullet. Okay, capital B or not, it's up to you. I'm gonna use a capital B. Hit enter, and now I have my bullet here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is have the bullet come from here. It's gonna originate from this player one, and it's gonna move up, and for right now, that's what we're gonna focus on. Okay. So this bullet is going to need a script. I did not create folders for that. I'm just putting them right here. So if you have folders for scripts, that's fine too. Right click, create, new, C# script. Right here is where you name it. If you click off, you guys are running into problems. You guys are are clicking somewhere else. Right here, while the wording is blue, you go ahead and name it. I'm going to name it bullet script. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, how do I check and make sure that my bullet script name is the same? Well, I look here and I also look here. Okay, that means that my name took, the name that I called it took. All right, let me show you what happens if you accidentally click out. Okay, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let's create a code, and let's say I accidentally hit enter, but then I come back in here and I change it. Let me rename it. That's not the name I want. Okay, so I named it here, but for some reason it hasn't changed here. Okay, because I clicked out of it or I hit enter or something. All right, that's a pain. It's not a pain in the butt, but it does take time away from you trying to correct that. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's go ahead and delete this code because we don't need it. That was just something I wrote. Make sure your name doesn't have any spaces. Make sure it doesn't have any special characters. It can have numbers, but no special characters like underscore or slash or stuff like that. Okay. So here's my bullet script. All right. So let's go ahead and open up all 3 scripts because like I like to reuse my stuff. Okay, that's 1, 2, and the new bullet script 3. Okay, empty script falling object is showing you that it is transform translate vector 3 down. Okay, we're going to be using the same one again. Okay, except this time we're going to be going what direction? Up. Okay, so control C off the falling object, go to the bullet script, come here, and I would like to paste that. I'm going to change that to up, and let's go ahead and hit save real quick. All right, so exact same thing like I said, except this time we're going up in a positive direction. Okay, a positive direction. So we're going from the bottom to the top. All right. We notice we put a speed here, so that means we need to go ahead and add an integer up here. Public int speed, and this time I'm not going to lock it in with anything. We're going to go ahead and play with that real quick in the inspector. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's go ahead and add the script to the bullets. Okay, to the bullets. So let me. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's put our bullet script inside our bullets. Okay. Right now we don't have a speed, so it's just going to stay still. So what we want to do is let's go ahead and start off with 15 for right now. I want to move my player over, so let me click my player over to the left here. I'm going to move my falling object over here for right now to be out of the way, and then I'm going to move my bullets right here just to simulate that it's coming out of here. Okay. It's not recycling, so we're going to have to hit play over and over again just to get that speed correct. Let's see what it does here. Let's see how fast it looks. Okay. Oh, what happened? I guess I might have hit play one too many times. Let's try it right there. One time. That is not too bad. That is not too bad. Let's look at it again. Not too bad at all. Okay, let's see if we increase the speed. Let's try 20. Let's see what 20 looks like. Okay, hit that play button again. 20 is not bad. Okay. Hey, let's go 25. Let's live on that wild side because you guys are rebels. All right, so 25. I like 25. 25 zips up there pretty good. Let's look at it one more time. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good speed right there. 25. 25 sounds good. Okay. All right, so we need to next be able to get rid of the bullet because let's say, let me just show you what happens. All right. When I hit the play, I'm going to go ahead and go to the scene. I'm going to click on the bullet, and then I'm going to pan out. Oh, it's not letting me pan out. I forgot to install my mouse. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and pause my video. All right, so now that I found a mouse, an old mouse laying around, so when I hit play, like I mentioned before, the bullet goes, right? But, you know, if we leave hundreds of bullets in here, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. One bullet's not bad, but imagine firing thousands of times and we leave these bullets, let them go. Computer's going to be trying to keep track of them, and that's going to be a pain for the computer to keep track of. A lot of memory. And it's still going, as you can see. Okay, so it'll slow down your game, and we don't want that. So how do we take care of that? Well, I'm about to show you. So one of the first things we need to do is make sure we get rid of this bullet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's go back and zoom in. All right, so what we're going to do is get some measurements. Okay, let's grab the bullets, and we are going to go in its y-axis, so straight up, and then we want to kind of just come out a little bit, maybe right about there. So right here, I look at my y, which is 5.7. We'll just say 15.5, just so it's a nice rounded up number, okay? A rounded down number. 15.5 is what I'm going to use, okay? So let's see what else we're going to do. Main camera, zoom back out. Where's my bullet? Oops, I lost my bullet. And let's bring it back down. All right. So we're going to bring it back down. And we're not going to reuse bullets. We're just going to go ahead and get them destroyed. It's not like the falling object where we can recycle it. We're going to just, we're going to be instantiating it here in a little bit, which means it's going to be coming out of this player. But we need to kill these off. We don't want 1,000 bullets flying all over space, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that, all right? So as normal, we're going to go ahead and do it in code. Like I promised you, most of the stuff that we do, we're going to be doing in code. So let's go ahead and go into our bullet script. And as before, we're going to make a comment here that what's going on? We're going to make a comment that this moves the bullet, obviously, moves the bullet. So the next thing we need to do is make a check, letting us know, hey, this is the bullet leaving the play area. So we're going to go ahead and create that. That is the check to see if bullet left scene. Okay. All right, so we need to go ahead and write some more code here, just like we did before. Next line is going to be our if statement. And inside that if statement, we're going to do the same thing of transform dot position. You guys really need to learn this stuff right here. And we are operating in the Y, so it's dot Y. Okay. And we are going greater than Y because we're going positive, not in a negative manner. So that would be this symbol right here. And the number that we wrote down on our heads was 15.5. And that is currently a float. All right, and then we need to go ahead and do our braces or our curly brackets. All right, little space. And this is where we are going to do a command. The command for this is destroy. All right, and we need to go ahead and give it parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you're going to tell it what you're going to destroy. Now, there's two ways you can do this. Because the script is attached to the bullet, the bullet script is attached to the bullet sprite, it knows that it needs to destroy that. So you can say game object with a capital O, and you close that out. Or you can say, okay, what I like to do is say this dot game object. Okay, so now it knows that it needs to destroy this bullet. Okay, so let me see. I think I did it. Yes, F for float. Yes, 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 yes. I am going to save it. All right, and now I am going to test it out and see if it is really destroyed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my screen so we can actually see it leave. And let's do this right here. All right, okay, the bullet's already down here. What you're going to see is the bullet actually go all the way up. When it hits that 15.5 point, it's going to get destroyed, and it's currently right here in our hierarchy. So once it hits that point of 15.5, the bullet's going to get destroyed, and this one's going to disappear. Okay, so let's test it out real quick. Let's see what happens. Bullet goes out, and it gets destroyed, and it leaves. So Now we don't have no memory to take up for all the bullets that we're about to fire here in a little bit, okay? All right, so let me go ahead and stop it. It did what it needs to do. All right, so now we're moving on to the next phase. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to the default mode. So that's here, default. All right, so now that we're back to it, I got to ask myself a few questions. Which object is doing the firing, right? It would be the player one, right? We know that because it does left and right movements. So we're going to go ahead and set up the player one as our instantiating of the bullet. So instantiate pretty much means it's spawning bullets, and you pick the point and you tell it right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. First, you need to find what's a good fire button. For you PC gamers, you guys mostly know that it's either that right-click mouse button or the space bar. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to go ahead and use the space bar. What you want to do is you want to go up here to the Edit menu, go down to Project Settings, okay? Look for Input Manager, and you're going to open up your access, okay? If you don't see it, it's probably going to be like this. So open it up. We've already used horizontal. You probably tempted to use Fire or Fire 2 or Fire 3, but in my experience with Unity, Jump is already preset with the space bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. All right. As you can see, it's already the space bar is already set. And Jump would be a very silly name. So we're going to go ahead and change that to Shoot. Okay. Pay close attention to what you use. You either use a capital S or you don't. So we're going to be using this name again. So keep track of what you named it. Okay. Shoot. All right. So, accident. So now we're good. So now we're going to go ahead and go to our code, and we're going to go to our player one code, okay? So I'm going to go right here. Where do we want to put this code? Let's see. All right, so now we need to figure out where we want to put it. We have this commented out. That's not a big deal. This is to move our player. This is our blocking code left, our screen wrapping code. Let's go ahead and stay inside the update because every time we push the button, we need it to be checked every time, right? So that's why we put stuff in the update. So what we want to do, go ahead and make some comments here. Shooting bullets is one of the comments. Our next comment is getting input from the keyboard. So get input from keyboard, right? All right. So let's go ahead and start that off with an if statement. If, right? And we're checking for input. And we're checking for input when we push the button down, right? So it's going to be get, capital G, get button, and that is get button down, okay? So we want to make sure that input that we have selected is getting pushed down, and the name of that button that we created is what? Shoot. So now it's going to check for that button being pushed, which is called shoot. All right. So let's go ahead and put a pause on the script right now, and let's go down to the Unity. Where's Unity? Right there. All right. So we need to do a few things to our bullet before we magically make them instantiate from the player one. I got an error. Let me take a look real quick. Invalid. Okay, let's see. Oh, we haven't did that yet. Okay, so yeah, that right there should keep it quiet for a little bit. And let's take a look at our. Oh my God, I'm hating this mouse right now, guys. And let's go in Unity. Let's clear that up. Come on. There we go. So what we're going to do is create what we call a prefab. All right. All right. So I think I've taught you this before, but I'm just going to go ahead and reiterate. Anytime you want to make a prefab is technically a master blueprint that it's going to be used kind of like a master copy almost. So anytime you reuse it again, it's actually using the blueprint of the prefab that you use. So it's not that hard to make one. All you got to do is drag it and put it back in your assets right there. As you notice, it is right here and not just in here. And you will also notice that it turned blue. Okay. So anytime you make changes, you want to probably pick on this one and you're going to see what I like to do is drag them in here and then make changes to anything like this one. So if I was to make any changes right now to this, okay, then I would have to hit the override button and I would tell it to apply all, okay? So we're probably going to do that here in a little bit because I just realized I didn't add no rigid body or any colliders to it, but we're not going to do that right now. Also, you don't want your prefab up here for right now, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And now when I tell it to instantiate or spawn bullets, it's going to grab this bullet here and it's going to literally make it come out from here. Okay, so let's go back to our code. All right, so we're going to go inside our player one scripts. We're going to go ahead and create our bullets right here where we already made a comment. And I've been talking about this word a lot, and it's called instantiate, okay? All right, make sure you spell it correctly. Let me zoom in a little bit, move it down here. So you're going to instantiate. Now, before we move forward, we need to tell it what we're instantiating, okay? So I need to come up here, and I'm going to create myself a public. And this time we're going to say game objects. And that is going to be, oh, there it is. I'm sorry, suggested name. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the wrong one. We're going to call it bullets. Okay. Game object bullets. So let me just double check my notes here real quick and make sure I'm doing it correctly. Don't want to lead you astray. And yep, game object bullets. Verified that already. So what we're going to do now is come back down here inside the instantiation. We're going to go ahead and call the bullet. All right. Because that's what is stored. And we're going to say where we're going to start it from. We're going to start it from the same position as the player. So it's a transform dot position. And what kind of rotation do we want to give it? We want to give it the standard rotation of transform dot rotation. Okay. I think that should do it. Let's close it up by closing that code, and let's go ahead and hit save. Right. So what it's going to do, it's going to instantiate a bullet, and we'll get to this in a little bit because we created a game object. We'll see here in the inspector in a minute. And we're going to tell it to spawn from the transform position of our player. Okay. And we're going to tell it to rotate in the standard rotation that Unity has for us. Okay. So let's take a look. I saved it. I think everything looks good. No errors. Let's go ahead and go to Unity. All right. So now Unity is saving. Console is clear. Yes, console is clear. So now we want to bring player one into focus. All right. Now, as you can see, player one has added something to its script. We got speed. but we also have this bullet here. Remember, game object? So now I have to select what game object do I want to be spawning every time. Well, we don't have the bullet over here anymore because we took it out of the hierarchy. We're going to use this prefab that we created right here. So I want to grab this prefab and I'm going to drag it into this area right here and drop it in. So now it knows anytime I hit the space bar, my bullet is going to come out of my player one. Okay, so let's cross our fingers and test it out. Okay, so every time I hit the space bar, I got a bullet. Yay, bullet, bullet, bullet. Right now I have no physics on the bullet, but I can shoot all the way left, all the way right. All right, so it does work. Now all my bullets did get destroyed because there are no bullets here. It's not letting me play it this way. So anyway, let me hit that, and they're gone. Okay, let me hit that, and they're gone. All right, so you guys saw that. All right, so that is part 2. So let's get ready for part 3. Everybody's fingers all warmed up and ready to go, correct? All right, so what I need to do is go ahead and make a copy up here. Anytime I want to work on something, I like to do that. I like to bring it into the hierarchy so I can go ahead and see it physically right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add a collider. It is a capsule shaped collider. Nothing wrong with making a square collider on there, but why use it if there is already a capsule collider, right? Look at that. So size, let me see. Can we size it up? No, yeah, of course we can. Of course we can. But I'm going to leave it standard right there. So anytime it makes contact, I'm going to go ahead and let it do its job. Okay. So let's go back here. And now anytime you make any changes, you need to go ahead and make sure it happens. So you want to apply all. Okay. So you'll see the changes that you just did. Hey, I put a capsule collider on a copy. Do you want to apply it? Yes, of course I do. So now my bullet has a capsule collider. My prefab bullet has a capsule collider. Ain't that great? All right. Moving on. Okay. All right. Lost my train of thought. Let's see. Let me double check this bullet one more time. I'm sorry. I have to take a little break. We got our collider. Oh, we need to make it a trigger. Okay. And also, we do not need a rigid body. So whenever two objects are colliding with each other, at least one of the objects needs to have a rigid body, and we already have it on the falling object. Okay, since I made a change to this copy up here, I need to go ahead and hit the override button and apply all. So that means my prefab master copy will also have the same effects. Oh, and there it is right there. Let's go ahead and get rid of this bullet. Let's delete that. All right, and let me zoom back out. All right, center, good. All right. So what should happen when I hit the spacebar? It should react to the falling object, and because the falling object code that I have already, whenever it comes into contact with something, it's going to move back to the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we created. All right, right there, hit play. So whenever I shoot and hit a falling object with the bullet, it should go back to the top. When I hit it with my body, it should go back to the top. So let's go ahead and, oh, here's a slow one. There it goes. It hits. It's good. Goes to the top. Another slow one for me. Goes to the top. Goes to the top. Now, the only problem I see is that the bullet continues. I would like for the bullet to be discontinued when it accomplishes its mission, right? When it hits, done, gone, should go. So that's what we're going to work on next. Okay, let's go ahead and stop this. let's go to the code. All right. What code are we going to? We are going to put it on the falling objects. I just realized that. Okay, so when it makes contact, it's going to move to the top. So this time we want to add another piece of code here. We're going to go ahead and add a destroy code to remove the object from the game. Okay, after it gets shot. So destroy. And we're going to destroy the other dot game object. Okay. So let's make a comment there. This will remove the bullet after contact, right? So after it makes contact with falling object, it should get destroyed. All right. So that's what should happen. You know what? I just realized something. I do have to consider that the player also is considered a game object. Okay? So what's going to happen is it's probably going to get destroyed also when it makes contact. So we need to go ahead and fix that. So let's go ahead and take care of that now. Don't forget to save. And I like to give myself some room. So don't forget to save. Going back to Unity, I'm going to yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Back to my. Well, we'll fix that here in a minute. Bullets. All right. So we're gonna go here to the bullet now. If we want to specify what we want to kill or destroy, we need to do something called tagging. Okay. So right here is a tag for the bullet. Right now it says it is untagged, so we need to go in here, use that drop down menu. Some of these are already pre-made. We want to add a tag. We want to add a tag. So we're going to go to this. List is empty. So we're going to hit that plus arrow. All right. And we're going to name this tag bullet. Now, you need to remember if you used a capital B or if you used any special characters. Okay. So now let's go ahead and save it. And we're going to go back to our bullets. Prefab. We're going to go here to our untagged again. And we're going to look for that one right there. So now bullet has a tag, and in the code it'll know to look for this bullet only and destroy this bullet, right? Not the player. So we need to write a little bit more code in here. So let's go in here. We're going to move to the top. So we need to write an if statement, and that if statement is going to allow us to compare it. So it's going to be a compare tag. So let's see how I want to write that. Other dot compare, and I think it's a capital T, compare tag. All right. And we need to give it the name of what tag to find. Okay, and that is bullet. I didn't use no capital letters. And then I need to give it its curly brackets. So I'm going to put its front one here. Delete the back one and put the back one here after this destroy. Okay, so all right, so just like that. So what this if is doing, let's go ahead and give it a comment. So what this if is doing is checking to see if it hit the tag that has bullet on it. So checking to see if what we hit is a bullet. And the way it can identify that is with the tag, okay, that we put in here. All right, so now let's check our brackets before we move on, okay? You should have 3 brackets at the end, okay? This one is for your void trigger enter, and this one is for your public class, okay? So this one's for your void trigger enter. This one's for your if statement, okay? Oh, wow, that's something new. I didn't realize that. But if you hover over it, it's going to tell you what this tag is for, okay? Or your brace is for, okay? Let's save it before we move on. let's go down to our Unity. All right, and oh, something I messed up on. Let's see what I messed up on. Line 44, I forgot a semicolon. Line 44 does not get a semicolon. Oh, but this one does. There it is. I'm sorry, hold on, wrong line. Line 44, saved it. Going back to Unity. Let it clear up. So now, as I shoot, the falling object is going to make that comparison and say, okay, it's not a bullet, or it is a bullet, and it's going to destroy it. Okay. Okay. Wow, it's taking forever. All right. I'm going to let it hit the player first to make sure that the player does not get destroyed. So I'm going to try and get under one of these so I can get destroyed. Okay. Nope. Didn't get destroyed. That's good. Didn't get destroyed. That's good. Bullet got destroyed and it doesn't continue. Awesome. Good. All right. So we are now cooking with Crisco. All right. All right. All right. All right. Crisco. You guys don't even know what Crisco is, do y'all? All right. Gen Z. So let's put a pause here real quick. Let me see what else I need to do. All right. So it looks like we got everything taken care of that we need to take care of for today. We have a bullet getting spawned in or instantiated from our player. We have our falling object reacting to that bullet. We still have our falling object reacting to the player. So if it hits the player, it's going to bounce back to the top. When it gets hit by the bullet, it's also going to get bounced back to the top. Okay. So what else? I think this is it for now. We're going to go ahead and close it up. Don't forget to review before you save. Make sure you have the proper amount of brackets. Make sure you have your spelling taken care of. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you want to. That way you can just be able to get on here. Sometimes we won't be putting links in. I'll just tell you to go to my homepage or something like that. And if you got any constructive comments, like, hey, I didn't understand this part, can you go over it again? I'll be more than happy to do it in class, or we can do a one-on-one, okay? So let me know what you think. Again, subscribe, like, or comment to my videos, and that is all I have for today. Tomorrow we are going to make these suckers blow up. All right? And that'll be day 6. You guys have a great evening.